Hello everybody, my name is Pooks and welcome back to the latest installment of the Pooks cast. Today I am joined with Rec Room support member and good frenemy, Ryu. Say hello.
Hello friends, how's it going?
Now Ryu is also a budding Rec Room YouTube streamer, doing all kinds of content including some Rec Room and drawing. Make sure to check that information out, you can find their channel in the description below. So make sure to go click those links once you've finished watching the video. And as always, we're gonna get some questions over on Discord and discuss them and talk about them, so off we go! Our first question comes in from Expler on Discord. They ask, what made you want to play VR in the first place? Now, I've answered this question before on the Pooks cast, so I'm gonna throw this one over to Ryu to start things off.
Sure. Man, this is a tough one for me because actually I didn't want to get in VR when I first started. This is something that a roommate of mine was like, "Ah, man, you gotta try this. It's like the next coolest thing. You gotta do this, Ryu." And I'm like, "Nah, it's a gimmick. Nah, it's not worth it. Nah, I don't want to do that. It's too much money." But eventually they hammered it in. They were like, "You gotta do it. I need support. I can't do this on my own. I had to collaborate with their funds." So we got the VR headset, we installed it, and then I became terribly addicted to it for the next several years of my life. And got a crippling addiction to gaming. It's pretty great. Would
Oh yeah,
recommend.
wonderful.
10 out of 10.
Wonderful. Definitely.
So
Yeah.
no, it's been a cool experience. Since starting VR, like what kept me going with that too, it's so immersive. It's so fun. The great communities just feel super real, and it's super fun and great to like just experience this kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
In like your face.
Yeah. So I've talked about my own experience in getting into virtual reality. Being a tech nerd, I knew about VR and knew it was up and coming back when Oculus was first releasing their headsets and such, and what got me into it was I actually had a prolonged hospital stay due to some medical complications, and the hospital I was staying at was just donated a developer kit for the PSVR before that was released. So I tried out the PSVR there, and immediately I was like, you know what, I want one of these when I get home. Got home, purchased myself the first consumer Rift, and the rest is history. Yeah, that's
Incredible.
That's how I got into it. So yeah. A similar story, I know a lot of people who weren't too on board with the idea and then tried it and were like, yep, this is what I'm doing the rest of my life.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Well, moving on. Alright, our next question comes in from Werewolf over on Discord. They ask, what is your favorite game outside of Rec Room? I'm gonna throw this one over to Ryu.
Okay. So this one's a good question. I've recently been doing a bunch of different games on like desktop with Among Us, Phasmophobia, those like recently really popular titles. In the past, though, I haven't really not played a whole lot of different games from Rec Room. It's been mostly Rec Room, some VR chat. I know, VR chat. Oh my goodness, can't believe it.
We don't talk about VR chat. That's scary.
Pooks, do you want to tell
VR
me your
chat's
opinion
scary.
on VR? But
No, VR chat is fine, but VR chat with Ryu is scary.
Why? All right. We need context on this. Why do you think it's scary with me? If you played VR chat with me like
Future
twice.
Pooks, edit in some of those clips of Ryu throwing lots of Oreos at you. I have those clips.
Wait, okay, so I can explain, my favorite game, yeah, so my favorite, alright, my favorite game is, Audacia. It's a rhythm shooter. You kind of use a gun, to shoot the, like, little plates in the rhythm of the song.
So
yeah. It's kind of similar to Beat Saber, but it's more with, like, laser tag guns, which I'm always a fan of.
Yeah, laser tag.
So yeah, just disregard that last bit.
For all of you watching at home, I really hope that segment made sense. If it didn't, there'll be some disclaimer on the screen telling you why it didn't. Anyways, I think it's my turn to talk about my favorite game outside of Rec Room. I don't think I've talked about mine yet. So, outside of Rec Room,
Okay.
I always have the common VR ones. Beat Saber, I enjoy that. Half-Life Alyx, but
Mm-hmm.
in terms of favorite game I don't even play anymore, but still holds my #1 spot as favorite game, because the only other game I have spent the most time on, which would be Worlds of Warcraft. I have spent
Oh, really?
way too much time, and effort, and money on World of Warcraft. Yeah. From
Do you have
time...
like a? Do you have an estimate of like how many hours you spent on World of Warcraft?
I know... Battle.net, I believe that's our client, keeps a record of playtime, and it's a good 8,000 hours. World of Warcraft.
Yikes.
Yeah. Well, there were good periods of 2 or 3 summers that I just never closed the client, because I would gold farm and AFK farm,
Okay.
and would constantly be running, and I would always be up. I'd have a remote desktop client that would be doing things while I was out of the house. I could control it on my phone. I was really into it. It was quite an addiction. I eventually stopped.
Yikes.
Right around the time I got my VR headset, I stopped, because I couldn't justify the monthly cost to keep the game. One downfall. But if it was a flat fee that you could just pay once and play the game, I would still be very addicted to it to this day. But yeah. I do enjoy World of Warcraft, and every once in a while, one of my friends from like high school or university will be like, hey, the World of Warcraft update is coming, you're gonna get back into it, and I look into it and I consider it, but I can't devote the time or the money or the energy right now. I've got VR stuff and jobs and a life and a girlfriend who wouldn't appreciate me spending 19 hours a day playing World of Warcraft. So yeah.
That's crazy. So I had a childhood game kind of too. That there were several of them that I used to play, but one of them that kind of I spent about 2,000 hours in was RuneScape. So
Played RuneScape, yes.
that was a pretty similar MMO RPG kind of esque fantasy thing, similar to World of Warcraft. But they have a free to play structure and a pay to play structure that were pretty segregated. But there's a lot of content in the free to play, and you could earn the subscription. For me personally, when I used to play, I would pretty much only play free to play. It was super boring. In retrospect, I spent hours and hours doing the same thing over and over again.
That's how those games are.
It was so crazy. I log into my account every so often to make sure it doesn't get deleted. And it's just like the game has changed way too much for me to get back into it. But it was a good game back in the day.
So you mentioned
Club Penguin too.
Yeah. You mentioned logging into an account so it doesn't get deleted. I don't really care much about any of my old accounts on anything, but there is one account that I have an alarm set on my phone. Every 6 months, alarms me to log in. One account that I keep active, that is my Webkins account. Not sure in terms of age bracket if you may have missed the Webkins craze of the 2000s.
I heard of it. I never was into that. I think I was on the Neopet side of it instead.
Ooh, that hurts.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There was quite a divide whether Webkins or Neopets. And then there were those maniacs who had those TY pets. If you had a TY pet account, I don't know what you were doing. You were missing out. Anyways.
So you got to think though, with the Neopets one, there was so many different like viruses that I got from it. So it's like just a great experience. Like I
Oh.
super enjoyed my time on that. Guys, don't play Neopets. It's still around today.
Yeah, I'm
It's
aware.
active.
Yeah.
It's
Is
crazy.
it really?
Um, yeah, no, there's an active community. They still get some new content in there, but it still looks the same as it did so many years ago.
Wow. I know.
It's crazy.
Webkins has definitely hit pretty far rock bottom from what I've seen. I do log on every 6 months. At one point, because I know Webkins. I don't know with Neopets how you get new virtual creatures, but with Webkins you had to purchase stuffed animals that would come with your magic codes. At one point, I did have just a mountain, like 50 Webkins in the corner of my bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My parents back at that time were huge on going to thrift stores and yard sales and hitting them up. They like to do that circuit. And if you look, you could find unused Webkins. So I never really used the stuffed animals. They just go into the pile, and then I'd take that online code, and I have like 65 registered Webkins on my account. And in retrospect,
So many.
that's a lot of Webkins. I never had that many
Yeah.
stuffed animals because my parents would either find codes, or I'd find codes, or I'd trade people at the lunch table for codes for things. Yeah,
Of course.
yeah. Dealing those black market Webkins codes. But yeah,
Oh,
no,
man, those are the
na-
days.
now you don't even need to purchase a stuffed animal anymore. They just give you free pets for doing stuff. But yeah, Webkins. Maybe one day I'll look up my account name, put it out public. You can friend people on Webkins. A Webkins party with all my Rec Room fans. For anybody who I doubt anybody who would follow me on Rec Room would play Webkins. But if you do, hit me up. I'll friend you on the Kins Network, I believe as it was called. It'd be great. Have a party. I have like 700,000 pieces of cake because the anniversary of when you sign a pet up every year on their birthday, you get a piece of cake in your inventory. And I started playing in like
Oh, okay.
2003, so I have a lot of cake. Lot of cake.
Incredible.
Okay, so that was general video game discussion. And we'll move on. To finish off the Pooks cast, we're going to deviate from the questions and talk about something different. Now, for those of you who are familiar with Ryu, when Ryu is not moderating the Rec Room Discord, or helping people as a community support member in Rec Room, or making podcasts with pretty cool YouTubers on YouTube, they're actually, possibly, drawing some artwork. And I think that's pretty cool. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about when, why, and how Ryu does art. Sound good? Sound good.
Alright, Pooks. So let's start off with I guess when I started to do art, some artwork. Gosh, that's so long ago for me. I started doing artwork as like a hobby when I was probably around 13 years old. It's absolutely terrible. It's just random shapes on scribbles on a paper, stuff that doesn't take form, the usual stuff you'd expect from that age. Actually, no, that's. I think I started pretty late compared to most people, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
So I started back then, and I mostly did it as a hobby thing. I started doing some stuff with my high school, kind of doing some, personal art for myself, some portraits, some scenery, kind of seeing if I would, continue along that path. I ended up doing pretty okay with that. So I bought myself a drawing tablet right as I was getting out of high school. and I've been working with that tablet since, drawing all sorts of different things. So I do some like little character design, little caricatures, some scenery stuff, but it's mostly just kind of personal artwork. I did some freelancing for a little bit too, but that didn't last very long. I got into other things that took up my time, so I couldn't focus as much as I used to on some artwork design. But a lot of it's just kind of character design stuff for people, and that's kind of fun because it's designing kind of cool creatures and different like interesting like characters with like people and attire and atmospheres and kind of stuff like that. So, but that's been my like kind of start with artwork. Since then, it's kind of devolved into doing a lot of artwork for some like personal stuff for my streaming. So all that kind of stuff's available through that medium.
Yeah. So
I'm not sure what else to say here.
well, I mean, I've had some other talking points. As someone who can't even draw a straight line or a proper stick figure, I know you have said some things about your art as not being top quality as you would want it to be. Like, you've made comments like that before.
Yeah.
And as someone who can't draw a stick figure, if you want examples of reused art, you can check out some of the drawing streams that they do on their YouTube channel, like I said, in the description below. Go support them. The artwork is amazing. Go support them.
They're so scuffed. I'm gonna stop.
The artwork is great.
They're the worst.
Get them. Get their stickers of them. Get the artwork. Just buy the artwork. Support the artist. Reuse is great.
No. Okay, so if you want to see some of the artwork that I'm probably doing, it's probably going to be posted on my Discord. So that's also on my channel. But
join her Discord. Information in the description.
I say this a bunch too, and it's like I personally don't like where I'm at with my current level of art, and a lot of that deals with the process that I use to create artwork. So for me personally, I like to jump into it a little too fast. I like to start just drawing my thing as it would be finished, or kind of not really posing it out or blocking it out or using a whole lot of reference like I should. So like, if you're looking to improve on artwork, those are the fundamentals you should start with. There's tons of YouTube videos out there, tons of content people have made, but it's all about getting the expression in there, getting the blocks, getting the general shapes in, before you actually start on like the detail work, the character design, the cool aspects, the coloring, the shading, the shadows, that kind of stuff. So it's a long process to try to learn. I don't think I'm not super comfortable with where I'm at, but I'm okay with sharing my artwork as it is now. Even just like a couple years ago, that was not the case. And so it took me like so many years, like 4 or 5 years at least, before I was able to get to a point where I felt happy to share my artwork to an extent, and comfortable with that before learning. But it's an ever learning process, so you just gotta keep at it.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's just coming from someone who has zero artistic talent in terms of drawing, I always like to get artists' opinions on artwork, how they started, and just what they thought. So thank you for sharing your thoughts on all that. Well, I would like to thank all of you so much for watching this installment of the Pooks cast. I'd also like to extend a huge thank you and shout out to Ryu. Had a blast recording this with you. Glad you could be on the show.
Yeah, it's been super fun to be here.
For those of you watching at home, there may or may not be some bloopers coming from this Pooks guest episode. We had some interesting things happen in the middle of the episode, but stay tuned for that. If there is, I may put a link to that in the description below. Anyways, if you would like to check out anything that I talked about Ryu doing, such as her Discord or her YouTube, check in the links in the description below. Also, join my own Discord if you would like to submit your own questions for the next Pooks cast. You can join that by the link in the description below as well. And as always, I'm Pooks, that's Ryu, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!